Let me just come out and say it. I'm outraged. I'm disgusted. And honestly, I'm heartbroken by the way Shedeur Sanders is being treated in the National Football League right now, especially by the Cleveland Browns and Kevin Stefanski. What I watched go down was not just bad football decisions. It was sabotage. It was calculated. And here's the part that makes me sick. In a preseason game, when you know your young quarterback is out there with third stringers and fourth stringers, guys who won't even be on the roster in 2 weeks, your job as a coach is to protect him, to give him a chance to build rhythm. You call a quick game, you let him get comfortable, you let him stack a couple completions. That's how you develop a rookie quarterback. But instead, no. They threw Shedeur out there running the same vanilla playbook like it was business as usual, like he was playing behind an all-pro line with first-team weapons. Everybody in the stadium could see what was coming. Shedeur was dropped into a situation where success was impossible. And to me, it looked deliberate. The timing, the play calling, the lack of protection, everything screamed setup. The Browns weren't testing Shedeur Sanders. They were trying to break him, and I'll be real with you. From the second he walked onto that field, I felt like it was him against the system. The organization thought they could kill his hype before it grew any bigger, silence the noise, and remind everyone he was just a fifth-round pick. But the crazy part? That plan blew up in their faces because now everybody's talking about it. Analysts, journalists, former players, and they're all starting to call this what it is, a setup. Stephen A. Smith was one of the first to sound the alarm. He flat out said this whole preseason was built to make Shedeur look bad. He said putting him in that opener, starting him in that situation, was never about evaluation. It was about humiliation. And honestly, looking back at how the Browns handled him, you can't argue with it. From day one, the cards were stacked against Shedeur Sanders. And Garrett Bush? He went in too. He talked about how Shedeur isn't even a priority at practice. And yet, Shedeur was the one showing up early, staying late, putting in every ounce of work he could. But no matter what he did, it was never enough to make him matter in Stefanski's plans. You want to talk about unfair? That's unfair. Then, after all this, when the media asked Stefanski about it, asked if maybe Shedeur's struggles had something to do with the fact that he was practicing all week with third and fourth stringers instead of the starters, Stefanski brushed it off. He didn't take an ounce of accountability. Instead, he put it all back on Shedeur, basically saying, that's just part of developing rookies. But let me ask you, is that development? Or is that a trap? You give a rookie no first-team reps, then you throw him in cold, surround him with guys who won't even make the cut, and you expect him to look polished? That's not development, that's destruction. Skip Bayless went as far as calling this the worst way you could possibly treat a young quarterback. And he's right. This isn't a one-off mistake. This is a pattern of mishandling, of undermining, of stacking the deck against Shedeur. Even Ochocinco weighed in, saying, exactly what I've been thinking. You could have put Tom Brady in that situation and the result would have been the same. No blocking, no chemistry, no weapons. I don't care who you are. You're going to struggle. So why are we blaming the kid instead of blaming the staff that set him up to fail? And here's what makes me respect Shedeur even more. He never pointed the finger at anyone else. Not once. After the game, he stood there, took full accountability, and said straight up, every sack was on me. He admitted he could have kept his eyes in better spots, gotten through progressions faster, made smarter choices. He didn't dodge, he didn't deflect. He owned it like a seasoned vet. But that's what tears me up inside, because how long? Can this kid keep carrying all the blame for a situation that was designed for him to fail? How long before somebody inside that organization steps up and says, no, we're going to give him a fair shot? Because right now, it feels like nobody's willing to do that. This whole ordeal exposes something deeper than just Shedeur Sanders. It's about how the NFL treats certain players, especially those who don't fit the mold, who don't fit the narrative. This isn't just about football. This is about bias, about politics, about control. And Shedeur is stuck in the middle of it. Yet through it all, his maturity, his resilience, his focus, it's been incredible. He refuses to let the system define him. And to me, that's the most dangerous thing for his critics. Because the harder they try to tear him down, the stronger he becomes. But the real question we've got to ask is this: when is the system going to change? When are we going to stop seeing young quarterbacks set up to fail and start giving them the opportunities they deserve? So I'll leave it to you. Do you believe Shedeur Sanders is being given a fair chance, or do you think this is a deliberate effort to hold him back? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is bigger than one game, bigger than one quarterback. This is about the future of the league. Listen, I'm gonna be real with you right now. What happened last night wasn't just a bad coaching decision. It wasn't just a preseason experiment. No, what happened to Shedeur Sanders was sabotage. Pure and simple. And if you think I'm being dramatic, stick with me, because by the time I lay this out, you'll understand exactly why Sanders is already thinking about demanding a trade, and why the Cleveland Browns just lit the fuse on another quarterback disaster. So let's rewind to Saturday night against the Rams. The Browns are right. They're in the game, down just a little, late in the fourth quarter. Perfect setup, right? 2-minute drill. This is the exact moment you put the ball in the hands of your young quarterback. The guy who's been electric all preseason. The guy the entire stadium came to see. The fans are on their feet. Everyone's waiting for Shedeur Sanders to step into that huddle, take command, and prove once again that he's the future. And then it happens. Kevin Stefanski rips the moment away. Sanders gets pulled. Dillon Gabriel jogs out. And the entire stadium, stunned. The sideline, chaos. Guys looking around, not believing what they're seeing. And Sanders? Man, I've heard from people on that field. They said he kept it together, but you could see it in his eyes. Controlled fury. That's the kind of anger you swallow in public, but you never forget behind closed doors. Now here's the part you gotta understand. This wasn't about rest. This wasn't about keeping your rookie safe. This was humiliation. Calculated humiliation. Sanders has completed 78% of his passes this preseason, 4 touchdown drives, immediate respect in the huddle. Meanwhile, Gabriel, barely over 60%, 1 touchdown drive the entire preseason, and still trying to establish any kind of presence. And yet, when the lights were brightest, Stefanski chose Gabriel. Why? I'll tell you why. Because this goes deeper than football. Inside that locker room, the word sabotage is floating around. Sources have told me flat out, everybody in that building knows Sanders is QB1, everybody. But this isn't about performance. This is politics. This is personal. You've got Joe Flacco still hanging around with his Super Bowl ring, a voice that carries weight with the staff. You've got Dillon Gabriel, Stefanski's personal draft pick, a third-round investment he doesn't want to see buried before it even begins. And then you've got Jimmy Haslam, the owner, who went on record draft night basically saying Sanders was the future. Put all that together and what do you get? Pressure. Fractures. Stefanski, stuck in the middle, trying to prove he's still in control, even if it means tanking his own team's momentum just to flex his authority. And don't think the players aren't noticing. I've heard linemen, guys who put their bodies on the line every play. They're saying it straight up. They trust Sanders more in the pocket. He's decisive, he's commanding, he's the kind of quarterback who makes their jobs easier. Gabriel, slower, hesitant. And the veterans, they're breaking the silence, which almost never happens. When anonymous teammates are willing to go public with lines like, "Everyone here knows Shedeur is QB1, this isn't about performance, this is personal." That tells you the dysfunction has hit critical mass. And here's the kicker. Less than 12 hours after that game ended, Sanders' camp was already making calls. League offices, agents, lawyers. They're combing through his contract, looking at grievance filings, trade request protocols. This isn't some emotional heat-of-the-moment tantrum. This is a professional response to a situation that's become flat-out untenable. They've got receipts. They've got practice tape. They've got teammate testimonials. The case is airtight. Shedeur Sanders has outperformed everyone, and yet he's being buried. Meanwhile, the fan base, oh, it's boiling over. Sunday afternoon, protests at the facility, signs saying "Start Sanders now" and "Fire Stefanski." On social media, "Free Shedeur" trending nationally. The Browns haven't just created a quarterback controversy. They've sparked a full-on cultural movement because Cleveland fans are sick of the dysfunction, sick of watching their franchise waste talent after talent. Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, and now, maybe, Shedeur Sanders. The so-called quarterback graveyard is ready to claim another victim. But if the Browns lose Shedeur, this isn't just football fallout. This is financial disaster. His jersey sales already outpaced every other Browns rookie combined in just 48 hours. His social media reach? Millions every week. His documentary crew is following him around, capturing his rise in real time. He's not just a quarterback, he's a cultural figure. And if Cleveland lets him walk, that's not just losing a player, that's losing your future. And guess what? The rest of the league is circling like sharks. The Jets? With Aaron Rodgers' injury history, they're watching closely. Tampa Bay? Still searching for life after Brady? The Raiders? Making quiet calls. Even Miami's name has popped up, where Sanders could reunite with a coordinator from his college days. These teams see what Cleveland is too blind to admit. Sanders isn't just a rookie. He's a franchise cornerstone. Now, let me ask you, what does it say about an organization when networks and advertisers are even starting to complain? Sanders' debut against the Panthers? 4.5 million viewers. His next game, when he barely touched the field? Ratings tanked. Sponsors called the NFL office furious. Millions invested banking on Sanders' star power, and instead they get Dylan Gabriel in prime time? That's not just bad coaching. That's brand suicide. So here we are. The Browns are imploding. Again. Stefanski, caught between ownership and his own insecurities. Players quietly taking sides. Media swarming the facility, turning practices into circuses. Emergency meetings behind closed doors. And Sanders, silent, focused, professional, letting his team handle the politics while he stays ready, proving every day he's the guy. But let's not sugarcoat this. Shedeur Sanders is done playing games. He saw what happened. He knows it wasn't an accident. And unless something changes, fast, the Browns might just lose the most talented, marketable, electrifying quarterback they've had in decades before the season even starts.